Hey guys, Parker Lennon here from Tampa, Florida. Look forward to working with you soon. Alright guys, so we just finished our warm-up. Our next section of this segment is standing cardio. So we have 4 exercises that we're going to do. I'm going to show you the basic movement and then a modification if you need to bring it down a little bit. So we have jacks, skaters, burpees, and mountain climbers. The first one is jumping jacks. Everybody's pretty familiar with this one, but you're just going to go up, bring your hands together, feet out, just like this. See it from the side here. Now, if you want to modify that, a good way to do that is to stay on one foot. Go here. Pretty easy. See it from the side here. For that one, just make sure you keep the core tight, keep everything moving in a good rhythm. The next one is skaters. So for the skaters, we're going to jump side to side. This is a little bit more advanced. You're jumping over laterally, crossing in the back. See how my back leg crosses, landing solid in the hip. This is great for lateral movement. A lot of people don't do this, so you need to. Keep your core tight here. And then the modification of this would be to just step, cross over. So it's a nice, easy movement, still getting a lot of that hip activation, but a lot easier to do. You can see that from the side too. So advanced, and then modified. Okay, so our next one is the burpee. There's a couple ways to modify it. I'm going to go through the regular motion first. So you're going to go down into push-up position, do a push-up, thumb up, pop. It's going to look more like this in the real version. A little bit faster. See it from the side here. Okay, so then if you want to modify it, the best way to do that is to go down into plank position. And you're just going to hop your feet in, stand up. So it's just a thruster. Now, if that's too hard for you, you can always just go into a plank as well. So just plank position, holding, and that will take out a lot of the more difficult part of it. The last one we're going to do is mountain climber. Again, from the forward position, keep your core tight. You're just going to move your knees forward. And then from the side here. Now to modify that, the best way to do it is just to go into a plank. And if you want to make it just a little bit easier, bring your knees up in that plank position. Trying not to, so you want to engage the core, you don't want to create an arch in your back. You want to push your spine up just a little bit and engage the core. Okay, so let's go through an actual round of these. So we're going to start with the jacks in 30 seconds. Here we go. So this is a great cardio movement. Engaging the core, keeping everything going. Awesome. We're going to transition into the skater, so moving laterally, crossing over. If you want to get more engagement, we're going to drop down in, deeper in that. And then remember the modification here, side to side. Awesome. Going straight into the burpees next. Remember the modification, just hop out, stand. Good, almost there. Awesome, going straight down into the mountain climbers, so plank position, driving in through with the knees. I don't want to arch my back like this, I'm going to push everything up, hips up, drive through. And with modification here, make sure you're keeping that core engaged. All right, we're going to move on to strength. All right, folks, we're moving on to the strength portion of this workout. So for this, we're going to be using a little bit of the mat, and then also we're going to be doing some basic movements that you've probably heard of before, but these are very, very important to get the form right, so we're going to go through the form of each one before we start our intervals. So the very first one is squats. The squats, you want to make sure that you're going just outside the hips. I'm going to turn my toes out, keep my chest up, go down into the squat. I can put my hands forward, cross them, whatever works for you. You can put your hands here. The goal is to get in that deep range of motion. Modification for the squat is just to go a little bit less range of motion, so you're going about here, back up. You're still engaging the quads, the glutes, and keeping the chest up with that one too. So you can see from the side, Go all the way down, sink in, full range of motion. I have my toes out, hips are in line. Cool. So use those in the part of the workout. All right, the next one would be the sit-ups. So for the sit-ups, there are a couple of different ways that you can do this. Most importantly, you want to figure out what works for you. So for this one, I like to have my knees up. I'm gonna sit completely forward. You engage your core here. Nice control on the way down. Now this is easy for me because I've done these for a long time, but you might need to extend your legs. So for the sit-up, extend the legs out. And this makes it a lot easier. So be going forward, engaging the core again. Nice control up and down. Not slamming the back into the ground. And then another advancement, or modification of this, I should say, is you can reach with your hands. That'll give me a little bit more leverage. So we're creating leverage with my legs out and my arms out to help you. So those are some modifications. If that's too hard on your back, a better version of that, if you have a lower back injury, would be a plank. So low plank position, I want to push my shoulders up a little bit, engage the core. Hips should be just a little bit higher than the shoulders. All right, so next one is the push-ups. So for the push-ups, very common exercise. I'm sure you've seen it before. There's a couple ways of doing this, especially if you haven't done it before. So our push-ups here, we're gonna keep a nice plank position. Again, everything's in line. Go down, touch the chest on the ground, all the way up. Pretty simple, you've probably seen that one before. Modification to do that, so everyone can do it, would be to go on your knees, kneel. Most important thing here is that we're not doing this. We're actually gonna let the hips go down too. So we're kind of moving from that pivot point. Everything's dropping in line. So I'm gonna keep everything in line again. It's just like the plank, except now we're creating a shorter line from the knees. All right, next one is the lunge. We're gonna actually do two versions of this. So I'm gonna show you the front lunge and the reverse lunge. Let's go from the side because it's easier to see. We'll go left leg forward. So when I do the lunge, I wanna get to a 90-90. I'm gonna go forward, 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. You do not have to touch the ground, just doing that in demonstration. So it'd actually be here and back. This is the forward lunge. And then we might do it alternating, so we go back and forth here. But a version that I like better that most people can do right away is a reverse lunge. So this is a modification, also pretty easy to figure out at first. You're just stepping back, go wherever you're comfortable, and forward. This works a little bit differently than your other lunge, so your front lunge, but it works in a very effective way, and it's easier for most people to do. So again, not really talking about the chest, but the chest is up here, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. I'm not doing this, and I'm not leaning back this way. So I'm gonna keep chest up, everything's in line, stepping back. Awesome. Next one is bird dogs. Very awesome exercise. Use it a lot for lower back injury, for developing glute strength, and a lot of people don't know how to do it. So here we go. We're gonna go opposite arm, opposite leg. So we're gonna actually be in a kneeling position here. I'm gonna take my left arm, right leg out at the same time. Bring it all the way up, back in. So we won't switch on this. We're not going alternating back and forth. We want to stay on the same one. So we'll do 10 here. Pretend that's 10. And then you're actually moving over and doing 10 here. Awesome. So let's go into that. We're gonna do it in a circuit fashion. So we're gonna go one exercise to the next, starting with the squats. We're gonna do about 30 seconds, so to speak. And here we go. Down, nice, slow, and controlled. Coming up. So see how I'm keeping my chest up here. Dropping my hips in line. Knees are out slightly. Toes are out slightly. And then keeping my core strong. And remember, if I want to modify it, just take some of the range of motion out of here. And again, I don't need my hands. It's just out of habit that I put them there. Could go here too. All right, moving on to the next one. So we have that sit up again. Remember, control up and down. It's not about the speed. It's not about how fast you can do it or how many you can. We're just trying to get through this, get stronger. Remember the modification, legs are out, and the more. You go here. Awesome. Going into the push-up, we're already down here, right? So just gonna flip over. Remember the push-ups, keeping everything in line so the core is nice and strong here. Everything's a nice straight line. And then if you need to modify it, drop in the knees. Everything pivots from the knees. Good. Moving into the lunges. So you can pick the front lunge or the reverse lunge, but remember 90 degrees each way. So left leg will be 90, right leg will be 90. We're gonna alternate back and forth. Keeping my chest up. And then for that modification, you can step back. It's a little easier to limit the range of motion here too, which is exactly what we did with the squats. So stepping back, keeping the chest up, or you get that wobbliness that I just had. And then probably one of the most important exercises on here for most of you, because you're over the computer and you need to work on bringing the shoulders back, tightening the glutes. Bird dogs. So we're gonna do 10 on each side. Nice controlled movement here. Getting a lot in my core. In full extension in the leg and the arm. Switching to the other side. Excellent job.